So,
Well, howdy doody.
I first clicked on the wrong link. That's why it took a little bit longer.
Yes, it's not exactly straightforward.
Mm,
I've never actually done that before. I've only sent them out, but I know that there's a few issues because it isn't straightforward. But I've got half an hour because I'm going to be speaking with Patrick at 3:30,
mm.
and then I'm going to be speaking with Sarah at 7. Uh,
Oh, great.
and so a little bit busy today. Yeah. So I bet it was beautiful in the forest meditating.
Yeah, awesome meditation right now. That's why I didn't saw your message. I was in
Yeah.
the forest and now doing some mandala work again, just coloring it. But just started it. Maybe you see
Oh
it.
yes. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but just started it. It's just doing some will take me some hour, 1 hour or something.
Yes, it's a nice meditation.
Mm,
So when you're listening to the forest, obviously this time of year, springtime, you've got all the activity, a
mm,
lot of bird song with the
mm,
mating calls and all this sort of thing.
mm.
Isn't that a dream?
Yeah, it will be. I think it's now great, but I know next week it will be even better because it's still not really flowering. It's still too cold for that, but next week everything will be green and stuff. So that will
Right.
be
Okay. So the buds start coming.
awesome.
You know, yes. I just been out down to the beach, and every single day I get down the beach, it's a different beach.
Mm,
I'm looking at it, and I'm going, for real. Come on, God, for real.
mm. Yeah, it's every time it's awesome. It's every time.
You see what happens. Of course, you've got all the elements taken into consideration. You've got the swell, you've got the tide, you've got the wind, you've got whether it's a bit cloudy or it's a bit rainy or something like this, whether it's pure, brilliant sunshine,
Mm,
and depending on the height of the sun. Because the sun, obviously, it appears to go like this, even though the world's going like this. But
mm,
now the sun is at about 10:30 or 11
mm,
o'clock. It's not direct up in the. It's not at its zenith yet because it's not the height of the summer. It gets there about the 23rd of June, doesn't it, with
mm.
the summer solstice? But depending on the angle of the light, it shows you a different world.
Yeah.
And the beach, the sea is so turquoise,
Mm,
and because it's the tide was on its way out, and
mm,
it's not a strong pull apparently, even though the moon is reasonably big.
mm,
The tide is small, and it's just a gentle lap. This
mm,
beautiful turquoise ocean on this flat gleaming sand. Man, I just look at
mm.
it, and I'm going to miss it because I'm going to be moving here probably in about a month. I'm going up to a national park up the
Mm.
northern hemisphere of Portugal, where it's mountains and forestry and all
I'm
this.
almost in the same situation right like you right now because next week or end of this week I will move again because he is just with my father and to the city and of course we in Kleve or the city where I go to we have forests there. It's not there are no forests but yeah it's not so close it will be different for me too to find a good meditation place there and stuff like that. It's yeah, but like you said too, it's always great to even if you see the same forest, it's always changing. And now I change a not different forest, and you change your environment too, and then you see even more changing stuff.
Yeah,
That's
you never see the same forest, and that's
no,
the thing. Like you never step in the same river twice.
no,
This is the beautiful thing about it.
mm,
And so, what I really enjoy is when you can have a 365-day
mm,
experience of one particular place, because then you see it in all of its facets,
yeah,
from the fall to the spring through the summer, and it's absolutely amazing how every single day it is different. And when Paul and I we were walking around our favourite park for one whole year, and we saw
mm,
the contrast in that, it
mm,
really is remarkable. And for those that don't have this level of awareness, and particularly for those that don't have the facility to be able to visit somewhere every single day, then their awareness is much smaller, because they I don't know, I think
it's a perceptual thing. It's because you and me, we trained our perception to perceive these things, to really be aware of that changing little things. Most people just, like here too in Germany, or here at my place, most people just walk with a dog through the forest, and they don't really pay attention to the forest. They just going their walk with the dog, and that's it. But when you change your perception, of course, that takes time after, but let's say after a month, you really train your perception to perceive these things. Then it's like, again, like we said, every day a different forest, because you see so much more in that forest, because you trained yourself to perceive so much more in these natural environments, let's say, to not just, that's a tree and that's a bush, I saw that the whole year. No, it's changing the whole time. And to make a great example, the 2 weeks I was now at a community, even there are guys, like one guy is from Colombia, and he doesn't know seasons, he just knows summer, and he asked me, and I said to him, here in Germany, the seasons really change the environment, like spring and autumn, and he really is looking forward to that, to see autumn here in Germany, to see the brown leaves and stuff. He never saw that his whole life.
And then to see the barrenness of everything when it all goes dull and it's just brown, and there's no vibrancy, and all the birds have gone, or they're quiet, they don't sing anymore. There's a massive difference, and so but you see, it's not only the world about us, is it? It's our own subjectivity. It's our own thing. Yeah. What I find on a constant basis now, that I am no longer associating myself with this body as the me. I'm associating the body as my body. Even though everybody says this is my body, they think this is them. But I don't think this is me. I just think this is the vessel that I'm sharing this experience with, and it's enabling me as consciousness to be able to have a human experience. And so I'm looking at this thing constantly, everywhere I go, and with little things like my back hurting and my hip hurting, and I'm looking at the human form, and I just have to laugh, Chris, because it's preposterous, really. And the pain aspect of it, I look at the pain. Okay, I feel the pain. Of course I feel the pain, but the higher self is looking at the pain, and it's saying, I'm saying, because that's what I am, I'm saying, it's only pain. It's only pain. And so you look at the pain, and when you look at the pain from a detached perspective of it, it just seems so much more easy to deal with it.
Exactly. It's like I have this experience with yoga sometimes. When you stretch a part of your body you didn't stretch for like a month or something, and of course you stretch it to a point where it really pains you. But when you, like you said, try to look at it detached in a way, and look at it and it helps really to breathe in that part, in yoga at least. It really to breathe in that pain, and it subsides, not really. It's still there, the pain, but it's like it diminishes in a way, because you're changing your perception of that feeling in a way, of that pain. It's emotion in a way, and you can detach yourself from these emotions to a degree. Let's say it's still, like you said, it's your body, you feel that, and it has reason because you feel that, but still it's your choice to how you perceive that feeling. It doesn't go away, but it's still your choice to how to perceive it. Like you said it too, like with your cosmic giggle, it's exactly like that. If you can say, oh, fuck it, now I have that pain, or say, it's that pain, and it's there for a reason, and I can see it from it's here to teach me something in a way, like with my example with the yoga posture, that okay, I have to stretch that part more next time or something, or get my routine in that too. But and then you're learning from it, and you again, you perceive it from a different kind of awareness, and then it's not how to say it, not as bad, not it's still there, but
you have a level of detachment from it. The thing is about yoga, because it's so about the breathing, you concentrate on the breath, don't you? You concentrate on the deep breathing, the rhythmic breathing, and everything. And so therefore, this is why people can have out-of-body experiences and spiritual experiences and this sort of thing, because you're kind of like you're hyperventing, your deep breaths, you're filling yourself with oxygen, your mind is closing down, and you're just concentrating on the breath. You're detaching yourself from the pain and from the body. You're going through the movements, but the whole purpose of it is to be absolutely calm and in a form of meditation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, therefore, then, it's kind of like you look at the body. You're using the body to experience this vastness, this consciousness. I don't know. It's bizarre. It's so bizarre when you start talking about this stuff. But
not for me.
Yeah, and so you experience it, but the body's feeling this pain. Oh, why are you making me do this and do that? And the consciousness is absolutely calm. Absolutely calm, and it's deriving something out of it, and it's allowing the body and the mind to be so calm so it can experience itself even more. And then the mind goes, I get you now. When you feel kind of euphoric. When I used to do yoga years ago, I stopped doing it because I've got joint issues and back issue and the hip, and now the flexibility, is restricted. But during the exercise and the breathing and after, I used to be on like a high for about 2 hours. Do you get that?
Yeah. After I had a long yoga session, really long, like same with long meditation, same. When you do it like a normal, like for me, normal meditation is like 20 minutes. But when I say, no, really like an hour or more, then after that, you really are on a high in a way. After that because you're relax so much your body, and when the yoga is nothing for you anymore, really try qigong, really it's not like stretching so much, it's just moving. I can send you a great video. It's just like
because I need a lifestyle change really, because I've been training now for like 40 years and I'm thinking I've got to ease up on my body, but obviously I still want to do something.
Yeah, I sent you a link. I sent it, I think, to Paul too. It's bone breathing, it's called. You just stand there and like you hugging a tree, and that's it. You stand there, but you're concentrating on pulling the life force energy, like whatever, chi, prana, or organ energy, whatever you want to call that, and you just breathe through your fingers. You like you're hugging a tree and you breathe the energy through your fingers, and then you start. In the video I will send you, it's all explained in there, and in another video I sent you 2 videos, and it's great explained in there. It's like, and you don't have to stretch anything or something. You just stand there and concentrate on breathing the chi or prana into your body. And when you do that for like 15 minutes, it really feels after that. You really feel energized after that. And you didn't have to stretch anything or anything.
Wow.
It's really great
Looking forward
exercise.
to that. And so 2 weeks has gone by already. Paul said, Chris is back the other day. And I said, it's not been 2 weeks. I said, yeah, it has.
It was
like, you're joking. and so he told me that you mentioned that, you've got the whole human aspect of it, the laziness and the cheating on the rota and the work and this, that, and the other. I'll let you tell me about
it. Best example is like, that experiment too they did here in Germany with a prison style, when everyone just takes with a prison, when they took the people into that fake prison, and
Stanford Prison it's called.
Yeah, that experiment, and it's almost like it was a little bit. Maybe I expected too much, but you saw the link of the website what they have. It's not looking really like that anymore. It's not that clean on the pictures, and but still a great community. But I think I expected too much because they're not, for my taste, not organized enough. It's still like these family dynamics, you know, like nobody wants to do the dishes there, and still people are like, you know, like, yeah, we are alternative, but still on their phones, you know, and yeah, it's funny because after. I just slept as the first week because the second week was like, why I don't sleep here anymore. It's no purpose because after the dinner at 6 o'clock, everyone just goes to their room, like really in a family, you know, nobody really communicates there really, just everyone, okay, dinner's ready, finished, yeah, everybody goes to their room and does their own shit. And that was really disappointing for me in a way.
Yeah.
It's but still a great community. I don't want to discredit them. Still great people there, and a lot of to learn there. I learned a lot there still, and how to live in such a community and such. I would love to live in such a community, but not. I would, let's say, yeah, maybe it sounds strange, but put more discipline in that, you know. We are all free spirits, like free spirits in that way. We all don't like to have rules and stuff, but you see it more and more when you don't have rules and nobody who's like the leader in a community. It's like, yeah, everybody, like I said, nobody wants to do the dishes, and then yeah, nobody did the dishes. You know, it's really like in a family, you know, really like yeah, everybody tries to yeah, laziness in a way. But I have to be honest, I worked my ass off there because I wanted it, you know. But I have to be honest to myself. If I really would live there for a year or more, then I would be like that too. I don't want to do the dishes. You know, it's a normal human thing I think, for everyone to, even if you are in such a community, to, yeah, I don't. Sometimes you don't want to do the stuff you have to do in a way, you know.
Yeah, but the curious thing is about this. In your own apartment, if you don't do the dishes, no one's going to do the dishes.
Yeah.
If you leave the dishes overnight, in the morning, it's horrible. Everything's dry. Everything's hard. It's 5 times as hard as it was, and it's inconvenient because you need this and it's dirty, and it's disheveled and it's undisciplined, and it's not correct.
Yeah.
And so I came from a family which was extremely regimented, and I never ever knew dirty dishes because we had a large family, and every single one of us had our jobs, our chores to do every single day. And the whole washing up and drying the pots and putting them away and leaving the kitchen immaculate, this went on every single mealtime. And we all was absolutely disciplined in it, to the point, I don't know whether I mentioned it to you before, in the early days when we were being trained, when we were only kids, you know, say like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, one of us had to wash, the other one would dry, and the other one would take down and put away. These were the 3 eldest kids at this time. And as more and more kids got older, then more and more kids would get involved, and we'd start to do other jobs. But one of the parents would come down during the course of us doing this, and they'd pick up one pot, and they'd inspect this like this. And if they found the smallest bit of food on it, then they'd do them all again. Do everything again. And so therefore then we became very versed in always using hot piping soapy water, changing the water very frequently, always rinsing the pots and pans after we'd washed them, put them down. The person would dry them meticulously. And so this level of discipline, it's a bit like being in the army.
Yeah.
When you see the sergeant major, when people have to stand by their beds, and every single blanket and sheet would have to be perfect, all the corners matching and all this. For an uninitiated person, you'd look at this and you think, that's just stupid. But it isn't stupid, because when you carry this on then to looking after your weapon, to looking after yourself, to looking after your boots, to looking after your feet, to looking after your own hygiene in war, it becomes immensely important. And it can save your life, because you don't lose anything, you don't misplace anything, you keep everything meticulous, and that therefore then puts you in good stead.
Yeah, I agree with you because I learned my most of my discipline. I was in a disciplined household with my father and mother. It's not like that, but still, I learned the most discipline for myself in the German army because I had to there. I had to learn that, and that's why I say I like to live in such a community. But if I really would live in their community, I'm just helping out there next month too and stuff. And when they really need help, I'm helping them. Because it's just like how can I say that in miles? Like 8 miles away from where
Oh,
I live.
okay.
So it's like 16 miles per my bike. So it's no problem for me. And I will help out there most of the time. But if I would really live there, I would say we need more discipline here. Of course, we are free spirited and we want to be spiritual and all that stuff. I like that too. But still, we have to be disciplined. Somebody has to take the responsibility and say it's not working now like it's working. Like the kitchen team doesn't communicate enough with the garden team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's they have to communicate more. Somebody has to really take charge of that and say, organize it more.
Well,
That
this
would
is the
be.
whole thing with this kind of like new agey living on the community,
Mm,
and this is the whole thing also behind um, a society which doesn't have any law, which is
mm,
called anarchy.
yeah.
It doesn't mean it's all violent and all this
No,
and the other. It just
mm,
means there's no laws
mm,
imposed. But the point is, the human being needs structure. The
mm,
human being has a propensity to be lazy, to be disrespectful, to be resentment. And if you've got somebody in the community who writes up the rota, says, Chris, you're washing up today. Phil, you're cooking. Sarah, you're washing the vegetables and this, that, and the other.
mm,
If you have it like this and everybody knows what they're doing, then nobody's got any resentment because it's all on a rota. And
mm,
one day you're doing this, the next day someone else is doing that. But
mm.
if there's somebody that has jurisdiction over the place, then you get the other people probably having resentment. Oh, this is supposed to be a community, and now you think you're the boss. And oh, please listen.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody to be the boss because you're a child.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
you see, if you've lived in communities like shared houses when you're younger, like
Mm,
student houses and all this sort of thing, the kitchen is always abysmal,
mm, mm.
absolutely abysmal. But you see, if you go into the kitchen and you start cleaning up everybody else's stuff and you don't
Yeah.
say nothing,
Yeah.
and people notice you, and then sometimes they go, why are you cleaning everybody else's stuff?
Mm.
And I say, why aren't you cleaning everybody else's stuff? I'm not cleaning everybody else's stuff. They should clean it up themselves. But they
Mm,
don't.
mm.
So therefore, I'm cleaning it up because I don't want to live in the shithole.
Yeah, that's the thing there too. I think they have that like they have in that community they have a big mandala in the dining room. Let's call that, and there it's everything is structured. Everybody, but the thing is. Everybody can choose their work, like chopping wood today, and doing the dishes after lunch, and one doing the dishes after dinner, and one is cooking today. But everybody can choose it. Nobody wants to do the dishes. That's the thing. It's a job nobody wants to do. Yeah, chopping the wood, no problem, or cooking today, no problem. Everybody likes to do these jobs, but dishes, nobody. I saw that in the 2 weeks because everybody can choose their job for the day. Nobody wants to do the dirty work, nobody. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. There has to be one guy who takes responsibility of organizing it and say, like you said it, like, no, you doing this today, you doing this, and even if you don't want to do it, next day you don't do the dishes because you did it last day. Of course, when you want to choose every day. You always choose stuff you want to do. Not the stuff you don't
Yes,
want to
and
do.
then if you start chopping the wood and you like chopping the wood,
Mm.
and then somebody else says, "I want to chop wood," I'm the wood chopper,
Yeah,
and you get
exactly.
all like this about it.
Exactly.
This is why I really just I don't like the human being because they've got too many traits, too many bad traits. That they're not logical, they're not rational, they're not thoughtful. The first thing I would have thought people would do when they go into the community is like, right, obviously the toilet needs cleaning.
Mm.
I'm going to show you that I ain't too big to clean the toilet. And
Mm.
so I'm going to do it with my bare hands. okay, I'll use a brush, but I'll use the cloth and I'll do this and I'll clean piss and I'll scrub the shit and everything. And I'll say to people, this is what I did exactly when I was running my business. And I had a toilet for the staff and I had a toilet for the office staff. Office staff, obviously, very, very clean. And so minimum maintenance, but the workers, they don't give a fuck. And so I would go there and I had them all standing around and they couldn't believe it. And I, got this cloth and I'm around the rim of the toilet like this and I'm scrubbing the shit off like this and putting some detergent down. And I say, that's how it's done. If I can do it, right, there's no reason why you guys can't do it. And so...
you made a perfect example for me, because today I watched the conversation you had with Billy. You uploaded it for a while ago, I think, and it was great because Billy asked you the question: "What do you think? What makes a great leader in a way? What makes a great leader?" And for me, I don't know exactly what your answer was, but for me, it's clear. I talked with Jonas about that. A great king, a great leader. You see it in him. You mentioned intention, of course. It's intention, his intention behind the thing of the leader, of the king. That's, but I would say that's 50% of a good king, because the other 50% is humbleness. A great king is humble. He doesn't think he's better than his people, and with your example now, with showing all your workers that you are humble boss because you're cleaning the toilet, they see that you don't think, I'm the boss, I don't do that. Then you are great leader. Then you are good king, whatever. You're a great leader because you're showing that you're still humble. Even if you have the highest position in the hierarchy, you're still showing I'm doing the dirty job too. I'm humble myself.
You're not too big to do the lowest job. And this is one of the things that I always took exception to in the armed forces, because you'd get people that had come out of top universities from the top families, and they would go to officer school and they would learn how to be an officer, and they would go straight in the forces as an officer. And so the everyday soldiers that had worked themselves up to corporal, to sergeant major, they wouldn't respect these officers because they hadn't been there, they hadn't done it. What gives them the right to all of a sudden just plop themselves on the top of the hierarchical system, just about money, just about power? And so this is why you always used to get a lot of conflict going on, because you've got this division going on. But you see, the very act of me cleaning their piss, showing them how I clean their piss, I only need to do it once, but I did it. So because I did it, then it's kind of like, I'm not too big for it. I'm not bigger than you. I was where you were now. And if you can work along these sort of lines whereby you will never be too big for a job, then maybe you one day will be running the business like I am now. And so you have to do all the levels of it. And I started right at the bottom in my life with all different sorts of labouring jobs.
Exactly. But exactly, that's the thing. Now you make great two examples, because that's the thing. I saw that in the German army too, with these officers, and they think now there's something better, and nobody of the higher up sergeants respected them really. Of course, they had to do, like when they get an order, they had to do the order, but after behind their backs they always talk shit about them, because fuck that guy, he never did what I did. And that's a great example you made, because you did that. You had to work yourself up. You had to show that to them, because that's the humbleness. That's then people really respect you when you see, okay, he's not thinking I'm better than you because I have more money or whatever, because you experience their shit, let's say, and that's why you it's more you can more put yourself in their shoes because of that. You know how it is at that place, and that's why they respect you, because he knows how that is, and that's the thing. That's why I think the best trait of a great leader is humbleness. To show his people he's leading, that no, I'm not better than you. I was at the same thing,
I don't know whether I would call it being humble.
Okay.
I don't think I'm a humble disposition, but it's being prepared to do everything. And so I had quite a few staff who were with me for several years, maybe like 5-6 years. And I ran my business for 10 years, and I started it from nothing. And I got to a position where I had 6 lorries, a warehouse with storage and office staff, and a Jaguar and properties and all this. And so I used to go out with an old van with holes in it, and I'd be getting, down into the nitty gritty, absolutely filthy, pissing it down, doing filthy jobs where people have shit themselves all around the bed and everything's covered in shit and also this sort of thing. But slowly, you see, I bought a new van. And then I'd advertise in a better place, which brought me better clientele. And slowly, they'd see me progressing. They were still a worker, just like I was. And what happened is, in the end, towards the end, I would stop going out, lifting the furniture, and I would go and visit them in my Jaguar. And it's kind of like, fucking, here he comes, Mr. Big.
Yeah. Then it's
but because they'd seen me come up, the only objection they had to that is that they were still lifting furniture when I wasn't, and they asked themselves, "What's the difference? Why aren't I driving a Jaguar? Why am I still lifting this furniture?" And so then you see, when you present an opportunity to somebody to look at themselves, then they don't like what they see, and they can have a propensity to project that onto you.
But yeah, exactly. That's best example for projection. Yes, you don't. You see what you're doing wrong you see that other person, and you see what you're doing wrong, but you don't want to admit yourself you doing it wrong. That's why you're projecting it onto the other person. That's why it's even now so funny with these social justice warriors nowadays and this political correctness bullshit, because they're all blaming the politicians and stuff. But I always say to them, fuck, you are voting these fuckers, you are doing it wrong. You are voting these fuckers. It's not, you can change it. You can change yourself. You can change what you consume and what you do. But that's what they don't like to hear. They're so indoctrinated in their victim mentality that they like to be the victim because they don't have to take responsibility what they're doing, because then I'm the victim. I think it was in the older days too, like with the gods or something. Yeah, the gods did this to me and this to me. No, not the gods. You did it to yourself. But you don't want to take responsibility of that.
Exactly. They get themselves into this sort of position whereby they are intimidating and confronting other people about certain things, and they're saying, you're not doing this and you're not doing that, and we want this and we want that. But what are they doing? Like you say, you see, they're not accepting all this stuff, because if they be the change they want to see in the world, then the world will be a better place. But instead of pointing the finger, telling everybody to tell them to stop doing this and stop doing that, all this. But what it does, you see, it gives them a modicum of empowerment, because without it, they wouldn't have the empowerment. But if they knew they were pure and good people inside, then that's all the power they'd need. Like Gandhi or Buddha or somebody like that, when they know through and through that they're not doing this pointing one finger forward and having 3 pointing back and all this projection nonsense. I've been revisiting Carl Jung and Nietzsche over these recent times, and of course they talk about a great deal about the shadow and the projection and all this sort of thing. And this is just something that people have been talking about for hundreds of years, thousands of years. Even the great philosophers have been talking about it, and so nothing will ever change. This is just the condition of the human being. And so what we have to do is we have to make up our minds whether we want to get involved with them or not, knowing that you'll never fucking change them. And so if you want to go into a community, Chris, and you want to listen to the squabbling, you want to look at the dirty parts, and oh, goodness me, you think to yourself, hang on, why do I need this? Because if I go on my own, the pots are always done, the cooking's always done, the wood's always chopped, and everything is ship-shaped. As soon as somebody else comes into the equation, that's when it starts to go pear-shaped.
Yeah, it's really to find people, I think, and I just was there 2 weeks, and I will help out more there. But even in these 2 weeks, I saw what can I do? Live in such a community or be a hermit? Totally on my own.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, I don't know. Both would be great. I think I can live with both, but I think it's still possible to find a community with really like-minded people who really has the same vibration. I talk a little bit with that, a lot with Irid, and a little bit on Sunday with Sarah, that I would know if we would had a community with you and Paul and Irid and Patrick and Sarah and all these. I know that would be a fucking awesome community. That would be working. We would respect our private sphere,
privacy,
and everything. I think as long as you build a community with great people, with like-minded people, with people you are resonating with, then it can be a really fucking awesome community. Just throw out the lazy apple in the pot. There's always someone who sees then a great community and wants to be in that, but you feel it's not resonating, and then don't take that guy, and then you have a great community. I think I would do that too. In that community, it's a great community, but like there are two, let's call them rotten apples in that community.
Yes, and that there has to be some sort of a consensus of a hierarchical system, like whereby if there's 10 people would vote an educator in. Give them the power to issue the rota. And because we've all voted you in, then we have to respect what you say. And we do this across the board with many, many things. But I have to stop this conversation because I'm going to be speaking with Patrick. But what I'm going to say, Chris, is you want to join our conversation because it's going to be a great conversation if you have the time.
Yeah, it's funny because now Paul sent me, he wants to talk with me.
Okay, let's see if we can get a foursome going then, yeah?
Yeah, I can write to him if he wants.
Yeah, see if you can get him to join, and I'll write to Patrick and see if I can get him to join.
Yeah, join. Oh man, foursome.
Right then.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he writes back. Yeah, but yeah, it's that would be a great idea for people in that chat.
I'm just trying to send this message, but my computer's running slow due to this. Right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click off the recording on this, and so we'll keep each other speaking, but just stop the recording.